Hey friends, family, extended family, my neighbors and extended family of my neighbors. Hope you are all doing great in the 21-day corona lockdown and you are using it fully to live a healthy and happy and peaceful and passionate life. As some of you may be aware, I have started practicing telemedicine and I am available for video consultations. And 90% of the times the cases pertain to the hot topic of today, which is corona. So I decided to address the issue. Let us understand that and be aware and accept that we are actually living in a transition phase which will go down in history as the watershed period between the pre-corona world and the so-called post-corona world, and these worlds are going to be entirely different from each other. That is my opinion. Although it is not possible to predict, especially the future, as somebody had famously said. But anyway, jokes apart, we are living in this transition phase going from the pre to the post corona world, which in my opinion are going to be two completely different worlds in terms of the way we live at home, the way we go work in office, the way we commute, the way in our habits, attitudes, behaviors, interpersonal relationships, everything, the way we shop, the way we educate our children, the way we interact with doctors. Most of these things are going online. Education is going online, medicine also to some extent. The outpatient departments, that is OPDs, are going online in the form of telemedicine. And shopping is already online, banking already turned online in the last couple of years. So the world is changing. And we need to adapt, accept this changing world. We need to be the dynamic nucleus to lead the change into the post-corona world. And we can do this by getting empowered by the knowledge which we should share with each other. So here it is. In order to put it in perspective quickly, I will tell what most of you already know, that knowledge is being bombarded at us from all the TV stations as well as social media. Coronavirus is an RNA virus. It started in China, in the Wuhan city of China, and it spread all over the world, including Europe, where Italy and Spain were very badly affected, also Iran, and it has spread to the UK and the US and India also. And unfortunately, there is a spike. Lately, there has been a spike in cases in India. So it is spreading, it is here to stay. In my opinion, 60 to 70% of all of us are going to be affected in the next 1 or 2 years. And out of that, well, 80%, the good news is that 80% will not require hospitalization and can be treated at home. And out of the remaining 20% who need hospitalization, about 15% would be treated in hospital in the normal wards, and about 5% may require ICU. This is the prediction as of now, as according to our scientific understanding. Regarding the prevention and treatment, in allopathy, prevention is done by vaccines, and we still don't have any vaccine for coronavirus. The vaccine is in the preparation stage, and it may take anywhere from a few months to 1.5 years or maybe even 2 years, because it has to undergo various phases of trials, including animal trial, then human trial, and then mass production, so that it can reach the billions of people on this planet Earth. So it's going to take long. Regarding the treatment, well, we are again in the learning stages. Some molecules are showing promise, like an anti-malarial, which is the hydroxychloroquine, and antibiotic like azithromycin, and some antivirals are showing promise, but still we are in the learning stage, and we are trying out, the various doctors in various parts of the world are trying out the treatments and getting success to some extent. But finally, the treatment will also, in a higher part, be symptomatic treatment in the form of controlling the fever, helping the patient to breathe properly, because there is a breathing difficulty which the coronavirus patients face, and it ultimately, ventilating the patient may be required by ventilators. Now we are all falling short of all of these requirements, in the form of vaccine, in the form of personal protective equipment, in the form of medicines, as well as in the form of ventilators. Companies, organizations are working in overdrive to manufacture them, but the gap is huge. In keeping with according to the predictions, according to the number of people who are estimated to get affected in the future months, the whole world will fall miserably short of medical equipment as well as healthcare workers. Now, at this point of time, I also would like to acknowledge and my hats off to the frontline healthcare workers who are risking their lives and working day and night for taking care of the patients who are infected by the coronavirus, as well as the governments of not only our country but the whole world, which are working 24/7 to somehow get this into control and to figure out ways how to do it. But till the time this virus gets contained, we have to figure out ways to stop or delay the spread of this virus, which is called technically delaying the curve. And this, as you all know, is being done by the methods which are actually proving to be successful to a large extent, like washing your hands with soap and water, using alcohol-based sanitizers, wearing a face mask, and social distancing at least of 1 meter. These change in habits are proving to be the best defense against infection by this virus. So what else can we do to prevent this virus from attacking us? How do we empower ourselves? That is the million-dollar question which I want to address today according to the knowledge which we have gathered in the last couple of weeks and months. Our body has a defense mechanism to fight such viruses, and it is called immunity. It depends on various factors, and this is what I'm going to talk now. There are various facets which are required to build our immunity. Now, first we need to understand where this immunity resides in our body. So it's the immunity, the main hub of immunity in our body is the liver, the gut, the blood, which has mainly white blood cells, and platelets are responsible for immunity, as well as the brain. So as you would notice, the whole body is somehow or the other responsible for maintaining and building immunity. So we need to empower all these parts of our body, and the way to do it is this. We have to take care of many aspects: nutrition, rest means proper sleep, exercise, mind-body connection, and social connections. Now, what do we mean by this? So let's go one by one. First is nutrition. Now, in order to boost our immunity, the nutrition which we require is simple. It's not complicated, it's not difficult to understand, and you really don't need a PhD in nutrition over here. It's simple. You just need to eat certain things and not eat certain things. So I will first tell you what not to eat. Tinned, canned, processed foods with preservatives and emulsifiers, and over the counter foods and takeaway food, fast food, junk food are bad at immunity. You should not consume them if you want to improve your immunity. It's as simple as that. So exactly what should you eat? That is also simple. You need to eat healthy, natural food, mostly plant-based, in the form of fresh green leafy vegetables and fruits. First, we need to understand exactly which nutrients or micronutrients are required for immunity. So I will tell you, they fall in two categories: vitamins and minerals. Okay, the vitamins which are relevant over here are vitamin C and vitamin D. Vitamin D is made by our skin on exposure to sunlight, and vitamin C is present in citrus fruits like lime and lemon, also in papaya. All right, and citrus fruits include oranges, peaches, etc. And the other thing which we require are a good dose of antioxidants, and these are present again in fresh leafy vegetables, green veggies, etc. The good ones being, kale and stuff like coconut water, which are healthy for us and which contain antioxidants. The other thing to remember is that as I said, there is a mind-body connection. So the gut is connected to the brain. In fact, gut is known as the second brain of the body, and we need to keep our gut healthy. And for that, we need to eat pre and probiotics. Prebiotics are present in fibrous fruits, which is salads again, and the probiotics are present in um, fermented foods. Now, fermented foods are, it's simple. The simplest fermented food is dahi, and there are various forms of dahi which are available. Dahi can be used as buttermilk or yogurt or Greek yogurt, which is slightly more strained, or hung curd, which can be made at home. Other fermented foods are the simple achar which we use. In Chinese food, it is the kimchi, and there are some other things like kombucha tea, which is also available in the market, uh, or sauerkraut. Well, these are fermented foods which are good in probiotics. Also, remember that dairy is good in the form of paneer and cheese, but it should not be processed, it should be fresh. And but those people who are lactose intolerant, please remember that you should avoid the milk products if you are lactose intolerant. If you are not, then you can consume it. So much about nutrition. The next is to get proper sleep, because once our body rests well, then our body is able to build our immunity. It gets strength when it sleeps. During the sleep, our body repairs itself. So that is important. The third thing is exercise. Well, everybody must do some form of exercise, whatever you know. Some form of exercise when you are staying at home, you should do maybe in your own room or your terrace or wherever. It's easy, it's not difficult. I am happy to answer your questions on a one-to-one basis regarding exercise or any of these in case anybody wants. But yes, this much I can say: each and everyone can exercise at home if you know the proper way to do it. I know the gyms are closed, but that doesn't matter. You can really exercise at home. So we have talked about nutrition, exercise, and sleep. Next comes the mental health. Now, this I want to emphasize. In my opinion, the corona epidemic is a pandemic. It's a infection pandemic. It's an infection caused by a RNA virus. But along with it, it is bringing two more pandemics. In my own words, they are the economic pandemic and the mental health pandemic, which we have not addressed as yet, because the whole world is busy in addressing the physical part or the infection part of the corona pandemic, because of course that is the most important. But we should not forget the economic pandemic and the mental health pandemic which coronavirus is bringing with itself. Now, what is this economic pandemic? The lockdowns are an economic disaster, but the governments do not probably have any other option but to lock down whole cities as well as states, in our case the whole country, in order to stop this spread of corona. But the economic impact is disastrous, and not only in our country but globally. In the US and the UK, big organizations like McKinsey and London School of Economics have come out with the study that says it will take at least 2 years to come out of this economic disaster, which is known as the corona pandemic. And the other one is the mental health pandemic. Now, this is important because although the corona infection pandemic may affect 60 to 70% of all of us, but the mental health pandemic is bound to affect 100% of us, unless we know how to deal with it and we take efforts to control it and deal with it right now. Now, how can we do that? The mental health problem, first we have to understand why it is coming. It is coming because we are not used to this kind of a lifestyle and we have been forced to change our lifestyle and stay at home. Now our mind perceives it as a jail, as if we are being forced to do something. So the first thing to understand is to accept this change gracefully. Gracefully accept this change and see the positive side, and not think as a lockdown to be a jail, but to see it positively and tell ourselves, which is a fact also, that I am staying at home to stop the spread of coronavirus so that the world doesn't get affected, and it is a good thing that I'm doing, not and it is not being forced on me. So these are simple ways to do it. And please understand, research shows that the mind can be rewired. If we keep giving habitually, we keep giving our mind positive thoughts, then it will become positive. The mind can be rewired, and there are ways to do it. It is called neuroplasticity or neuro linguistic programming or subconscious re-imprinting techniques. These are all methods which ultimately help the mind to go in and think in a particular direction, and we can manipulate our thoughts. Please remember the old adage which says, God give me serenity to God give me courage to change the things which I can. The dynamic nucleus which will lead the change or the transformation or transition from the pre-corona world to the post-COVID world, which are going to be completely different, as I said, and try to make the future, which is our post-COVID world, a much better, a happier, a positive place as compared to what we have left behind us. In order to prevent this mental pandemic, some simple tips to follow are must maintain social connections. We should be in touch with each other. We must remember that the social distancing is not social isolation. We are not isolated from each other. We are just maintaining a distance from each other, and we are connected to each other, and technology is helping us. So we must stay connected with our friends, family, and our loved ones. And we should take care of one thing, that those people who are already constantly talking negative all the time, we should avoid them for our own good, because first we have to compose ourselves and accept this ourselves, and then we can help others. So somebody who's talking negative all the time, I don't say completely shun them, but avoid them. Just like you should avoid the tsunami of negative news on TV all the time. In my opinion, just twice a day watching the news is sufficient. It is definitely not required to keep watching it the whole day and getting that negativity, which the TV channels are very happy to sensationalize. It is not required. Just twice a day getting the news, just to be aware of what is happening outside you, is enough. And the rest of the time one should spend at home giving positive thoughts to ourselves, eating nutritious food, doing exercise, connecting with each other in a positive way, and doing meditation. Now, meditation, if some of you are aware of meditation, whatever type of meditation you are aware, you must do it. Meditation, the main part of meditation is breath work or pranayam, and the other one is breath awareness. So one is to be aware of the breath, the other is to do conscious breathing or pranayam or various other forms of meditations, which I can discuss, but not at this point of time. But I am happy to discuss it personally if somebody wants to learn, because this will go a long way in improving the mental health and our collective consciousness to turn positive. This meditation is the single most important tool in converting our collective consciousness into positivity. Thank you. You take care, and I'll be back.